Hey, what's up, world? This is the Wins Above Replacement podcast, War Sports here, Ben and Dion, episode 2, just in time for the week 17 in the NFL season. And real quick, shout out to the subscribers that we have already found. We have maybe a few handful of y'all. Thank you. And, pass along if you like the information that you get here, if you're entertained a little bit. And check out our Twitter and Instagram. We'll put it underneath in the description. And hopefully we get a couple of followers and we get some interaction going here with some fans out there and have a good time with this whole thing. So let's just get into this week 17. Dion, what do you think about that whole AFC playoff picture? Winning, you're in. Kind of go run down the scenarios for us real quick.
Yeah, for sure. AFC is a lot to be played for tomorrow. Like a lot of times you get to week 17, there's one or two games that are interesting or that are going to have really big implications. This year, it's a lot. I mean, you got the top 3 seeds obviously are already locked in. Chiefs number 1, they're going to rest everybody. They got nothing to play for. The 2 and 3 seed, Buffalo right now is the 2 seed. Pittsburgh is the 3 seed. Only thing that can change there is you got if Buffalo loses to Miami and Cleveland's second string ends up going and beating Cleveland, then Pittsburgh will flip-flop. But those 3 are guaranteed in. So how hard are those 3 teams going to be playing? It's yet to be seen. I mean, there you have a lot of guys on there that maybe playing for contracts or to open some eyes, put some good tape out there. So there could be some guys playing hard tomorrow, but how hard is that going to be? We'll see. But after that, man, you go from adding the new playoff, the new wild card team this year with only 1 bye. You've got 4 teams fighting, and really, if you look at it on paper, it looks simple. Win and you're in for Tennessee, Baltimore, Cleveland, and Miami. Tennessee plays Houston. I fully expect Tennessee to beat Houston. Cleveland plays Pittsburgh. Like I said, they got the Mason Rudolph will be starting tomorrow. You're going to have Mason Rudolph starting. And you're going to have, so Ben's out. You have Ben out. TJ Watt's going to sit. Cam Hayward's going to sit. And Pouncey's going to sit for sure. I'm sure a lot of other guys are trying to just stay healthy, get into the playoffs. So how much are guys like Joe Hayden, Stephon Tuitt, David DeCastro, guys like that going to play? I don't know. Then you got Baltimore plays Cincinnati, which, and like I said, it looks so simple. Tennessee should win. Cleveland should win. Baltimore should win. So I say those 3 are locked if you ask me to go in. But after that, it really comes down to Miami against Buffalo. Indianapolis is right there on the outside looking in. They need Tennessee to lose to Houston to get in or Miami to lose. To me, I feel like their best chance is to beat Buffalo. And again, Buffalo's not playing for nothing. I mean, getting that 2 seed is big. You're guaranteed 2 home games. You're going to be on the opposite side of Kansas City, which would be huge because you don't have to face them till later on. That's big. So, like I said, on paper, it looks pretty cut and dry, but it's going to be that bottom number 7 seed is the most interesting. What do you see on that on the AFC?
One thing I'm really interested in is to see how Tua is going to bounce back as the starter coming in this week. Fitzpatrick's unavailable with the COVID, list and whatnot. So what's that confidence level going to be in as a rookie going in, trying to clinch your team a playoff spot? And it's really a team that really has not had a lot of bright spots. And, can they survive an early run and then come back and can Tua, he's been a pretty decent front runner as a quarterback, but he's been benched when they've been from behind. So if he doesn't get out to an early lead, how's the team going to respond? I think that's a big deal. And then 2, I see the terrible towels behind you. Obviously, we got a Pittsburgh fan with us, but what's it going to be like, for Mason coming back playing the Browns? Not that the game matters, but is he gonna try to eliminate a team that he has personal beef with, play really well? Is the team going to get behind him, rally around him, and really kind of take on the Browns that were in the bigger part of that brawl that they had last year with the helmet? I think those are the 2 things I'm really looking at. And then Phillip Rivers, he has to win and then get some help. What's that going to look like? He was really brought in as a stopgap guy. I think he's invested in winning, but at the same time, winning needs some help. It kind of lets the air out of the tires. So I hope that he, comes and shows up and does win, and see what happens with the rest of the scenarios there. But I mean, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, a couple big stories. I mean, you look at, Miami, warm weather, going to Buffalo. Is it going to snow tomorrow? I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be snow tomorrow. They're very well, maybe snow there tomorrow in Buffalo. So the Florida team coming to Buffalo in the snow. Tua's an Islander coming to play in the snow. He hasn't played a whole lot of games. So that's that story. You got Cleveland. How about they always seem cursed. Seems like something always bad happens to Cleveland. Haven't been in the playoffs since 2002. They're on a 4 or 5 game winning streak up to the end of the season. And then you got your last 2 games are against the Jets and Steelers, who probably have nothing to play for. So you're going into those games thinking, man, we're going to make the playoffs easily for the first time since 2002. And then what happens? You hit COVID. You got your whole receiving corps gone last week against the Jets. They lose to the Jets. And now they have a couple other guys this week getting COVID. So they're going to be shorthanded a little bit as well. Zendejo is going to be out. Who else did I see? Ward, right? He's going to be out in the secondary. So those are going to be some big losses. So, like I said, a lot of big story. And then Phillip Rivers. You bring him in. What a big opportunity did they blow last week? Up 17 on the road to basically clinch a playoff spot. They just went totally away from their game plan and fell apart, and Pittsburgh came back and beat them. So, like I said, there's a lot of good stories going on. I'm interested to see how it all plays out.
One backdoor thing I'm thinking about too is, the Chiefs aren't going to really play hard this week, and the Chiefs they're going to have a bye. Their significant game will be 3-4 weeks removed. I mean, they haven't been that sharp anyway.
Exactly. Have they been playing very sharp lately? No, not really. I mean, I'm kind of surprised Mahomes is going to sit the whole game. I at least expected him to take it like a preseason game, maybe play first quarter, maybe first half, something like that. But the fact he's going to sit the whole game, that's going to be very interesting, like you said.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be one of those things too, where, a good team, we see this in a lot of other sports, and we've seen it in the past too. I mean, the Patriots did it a little bit during their little run. Some teams think they can turn it on and off, but they don't anticipate that getting hit in the mouth real early, and then, all bets are off. So they played down to their opponents quite a bit, kind of met their opponents on their level, and then turned it on in the fourth quarter, pulled out some wins. And, that Carolina win, super, super lucky. Both Raider games, they lost one, and the other one they should have lost. Played really bad in Chiefs terms against the Broncos. I mean, there's just a lot of opportunities there for them to have really slipped up along the way. Good up to Andy Reid for catching it, but I just don't know if it's as easy as turning it off and on when you have really physical teams on the docket for a possible first game. Even if they got, there's so many teams that could beat them. Tennessee, you saw what they're capable of. Pittsburgh, a lot of those teams Buffalo can get hot. They played, the Chiefs earlier, but
Well, and like you said, to me, I've been feeling that way about the Chiefs for most of the year. Like, almost, I say the same thing every year about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is, to me, I feel like he's so good. And we say the same thing about LeBron in the NBA, is that almost like they're bored in the regular season. Like, they know we're going to be in the playoffs. Let's just get there healthy, and now let's turn it on. So that's what I want to see Kansas City in 2 weeks when we play. And we'll touch on that when we get closer to them playing. But like I said, to me, I've always felt like, they play down to their opponents because they're bored. I mean, in reality, they know we're going to be in the playoffs, and I don't care where we're playing. This year it's going to be a little different. I mean, from what I understand, a lot of the teams are going to allow fans in the playoffs. So that'll be good because you give them some kind of home field advantage, because right now there is none, and it shows, man. I mean, and so, like I said, I just kind of curious, but we'll touch on that later on. But so my pick right now, I'm gonna go generic. I'm gonna say Baltimore's gonna beat Cincy. They're in. Cleveland's gonna beat Pittsburgh. Mason Rudolph and Pittsburgh. They're in. Then we got after that we got Miami is fighting for a spot, right? And Indianapolis.
Indy.
Oh. who's gonna get in on the last one? I think Miami's gonna pull it off in Buffalo. I just don't think they're gonna put Josh Allen in any kind of danger. I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised after the first half, depending on either way, whichever they're up or they're down. I think they got to pull him. They can't let him play the whole game, can they? So I'm going to go with Miami. He's going to take that last spot. And
I like that the NFL continues to do that last week or two divisional games, because there's a little bit of some added motivation to kind of play spoiler a little bit. So I do think that maybe Buffalo may play a little harder. They don't want to be rusty, but they don't want to get hurt either. So, I mean, there's going to be that fine line. I can't help but think that Mason Rudolph's going to want to come in and try to win. And Mike Tomlin's going to want to come in and try to win that game. And
it's a division rival too,
Yeah. And play spoiler and make sure that the Cleveland, the Browns and the Dog Pound don't get no confidence at all for the future. And that's just some gamesmanship. But I can't just go in there and think Mason's going to roll over. So I'm going to say Pittsburgh wins that game, and then Indy wins and takes the spot away from Cleveland, gets that last playoff spot. Two AFC South teams with Tennessee being the division winner, and then anything could happen.
Okay, sounds good. Now let's go ahead and move on to the NFC. Once you try and break down the NFC for
the NFC, they don't even have the byes clinched yet. So there's really a couple of scenarios there. The division winners, for the most part, are already settled. With Green Bay winning the North, New Orleans winning the South, and Seattle winning the West. Tampa did clinch a playoff spot, so the four teams are in. We don't know about seeds yet and whatnot, but again, the Saints and the Green Bay Packers, they're still going for that bye. So they're both trying to win. So depending on who wins, who loses, both win. That scenario is going to be there. So all of those games really count on the NFC side of things still. The Bears are really fighting for a playoff spot. They're in with the win. Or in Arizona
with the win is Chicago's the only one that's in with the win.
Yep, that's the only one that's in with the win. Everybody else needs help. Chicago could win and they could still get in, even if they lose with an Arizona loss. But then Chicago needs to get a tie or an Arizona tie. I mean, further down the tiebreakers, it gets a little more muddy. But Chicago controls their own destiny. I do feel like it's a little bit of a Trubisky, validation run here.
Redemption type thing. Yeah. No,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Get rid of those demons from the earlier in the year. And, he never really played bad. He didn't really play well.
Exactly. He seemed like kind of like one of them Alex Smith type, Ryan Tannehill, if you want to put him in there.
Yeah.
Those guys that's going to get you some wins, but when you need them to take you over the top, can they do that? And I know what you're saying. Yeah. So Arizona, they're playing against the Rams, right? With no Goff. Okay. Yep. Now Arizona, they win, and what's their scenario to get in?
Well, real quick back to the Rams is the Rams win and they're in, right? But they have to play with their backup quarterback. So, Goff played all first 15 games of the year. I would anticipate they go back to a lot of the run game that we saw there with Akers kind of towards the end of the year. Henderson a little bit, play it safe and play good defense.
Henderson is the out. Are they stuck with Malcolm Brown? Is that
I think
maybe Malcolm Brown?
Yeah, it may be. Yeah, you're right. I think Henderson is kind of he finished the game last week, but he may be unavailable this week.
So it's just interesting, man. They're going in there really banged up, man. And
yeah,
at times during the year, when they beat Seattle and they looked like the Rams from a couple of years ago. Goff making great throws. They got a great receivers in Woods and Cup. And they just got banged up here late, and so it's gonna be interesting. So go ahead, Joanne.
But the Cardinals can also get in with the win. So the winner of that game clinches one of the spots. Okay. The other part of it is, if they lose, they could still get in with a little bit of help. Chicago has to lose. Chicago's Arizona can. So Chicago's kind of the linchpin to that whole thing. Both teams can get in, but Chicago wins, they're in. The Rams win, they're in. The Bucs are already in. We've got the 3 division winners. The one thing we don't know.
Yeah.
Yep, the seeding. But the other part of it is that NFC East is so bad with the record-wise. It's almost hard to think that anybody can make the playoffs. But, that's where it gets really kind of confusing. So I'm going to have to use my notes on that one real quick. So the New York Giants can clinch the East with a win and a Washington loss.
Okay. And Washington plays Philadelphia in the late game.
Yep. So then Washington can clinch a playoff spot with a win or a tie and a Dallas loss. So, it's really they both kind of have to be
a tie up till Washington and Philadelphia play in the evening. So we could know that could very well be the winner takes the division and goes to the playoffs. I mean,
yep. That's exactly what's going to happen. I think the NFL wants it that way,
they put it at 6 o'clock,
Yeah. So they're not dumb, but I think regardless of who wins that scenario, I don't give them a whole lot of chance in the playoffs, but like I said, all three of those other division winners can still win a bye with some losses and some help. The only one that really controls their own destiny is Green Bay. They get the win, they get the bye, case closed.
And they're playing Chicago, who, like you said, they
need
got
a win.
Out the only one they win and they're in. So Chicago, I mean, and again, Green Bay, I mean, that bye is important, man. I mean, especially this with all this COVID stuff, a lot of injuries, a lot of guys banged up. I mean, as a Steeler fan, early on in the year, we stayed healthy. Things were going great. And then as the season went on, we had our bye early week 4. And so, yeah, there's some guys banged up. So that could be big. I mean, so don't expect Green Bay to just roll over. Going back to Washington, like you said, they can, they're basically, if they win and they're NFC East champions, NFL's not doing them any favors because they're playing in Philadelphia, correct?
Yep.
And so if they're going to go from playing at Philadelphia late, fly home, get home late, and then probably going to be on the road on the way to Tampa or
Seattle or
so it's not going to be easy, like you said. But we'll touch base on the actual matchups next week. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. I'm excited. Like I said, generally going into week 17, it's kind of like there's a couple games I'm keying. I want to watch and see what's going on. But this weekend there's a lot going on and a lot of early games. And so there'll be a lot of scoreboard watching going on, right? Do you think, what do you think about like Buffalo, knowing, if Pittsburgh's losing? I mean, are they going to be watching that scoreboard and say, all right, hey, Pittsburgh's down, 3 scores. Let's go ahead and pull our guys out, because we know that they can't jump us. Even if you got to think that's got to be natural as a coach and especially as players. I was hearing who was Frank Reich in Indianapolis because they need some help. They need to win and help. I heard he told them, they're not going to post any scores up in the stadium and all that stuff because they don't want to know because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if they don't win. So, but I thought that was kind of interesting, to see.
One thing that I think is really cool, and I'm not a really huge MLS fan, but a couple of years ago, I had some tickets to a Colorado Rapids game, and it was on the last day of the season, and they did this. It was called Separation Sunday, and what they do in the MLS is they start every single game at the exact same time across the league. And so there's no sitting, there's no gamesmanship, and everybody has to play hard. And it really made for a fun day, tracking it on my app, on my phone, sitting there with the other fans. No one knew what they're posting scores live, but it had that really kind of March Madness kind of feel for at least that 2 hours that I was there. Is anything could happen. And you didn't know your seed. Yeah, it was cool.
Well, like I said, imagine you're playing on the road, 2 o'clock game. That's, 2 o'clock our mountain time here. Even so, that's a 3 o'clock game on the East Coast. Let's say you're going to go to play on the West Coast in the playoff. It's kind of, I would agree with that. I would say let's all play them all at 11. Put them all on 11 and let them all, if they want to scoreboard watch, go ahead, because then at least but it's real time. It's real time stuff. Like you're going to have some teams going in later on that might even be out of it in the 2 o'clock games, not or kind of knowing where they're at. But yeah, no, that's kind of interesting. I mean, I'm surprised they don't do something like that, which, I mean, they don't have any Thursday night game, Saturday or Monday game. So I guess they figure it's all anyway.
I don't want to get too far off topic, but I mean, Roger Goodell, man, get with us, because what we could do is you got the Red Zone channel, you have one Super Sunday, sell it for $20, pay-per-view, have every, picture in picture, all the games going at once, all the highlights going at once, just for one weekend. I mean, you might not lose. You might think you're losing money because you're not on TV, but you do that. I guarantee people are going to buy that and find out what's going on live that last weekend of the year, and it'll be chaos, but in a good way.
Especially on a weekend like this weekend. I'm telling you, like there's 5-6 games that are huge, huge. Yeah, maybe even more, maybe even 7-8 games. But yeah, so yeah, it's gonna be pretty interesting. Like I said, so who do you what you predicting on the NFC? Who's going to be the odd man out? Who's going to be the team out?
I think that I think that Green Bay is going to win that bye, and I think they need to, because when you look at New Orleans, you don't. If you get a dome team late as your biggest rival in right now, as far as or even Tampa, they're a warm weather team. Arizona's a warm weather team. Seattle and Green Bay, they're really going to be fighting for that home field, because both of them have a little bit of the elements in their side with playing outdoors. But especially Green Bay, if they're in a position to have that home field and make New Orleans come up there at some point and win in the weather, that's a huge deal for them. So I do think they're going to win the bye. And then, I can't help but think that the Giants, I mean, I think Daniel Jones is probably a little bit better quarterback than the fifth string, Washington quarterback, whoever they march out there. They've had a lot of drama. So I think that, the Giants are going to win the NFC East. And then, it's a toss-up for those rest of those spots. You know what I mean? I think that the Rams with a backup quarterback are going to really struggle, but then they got a really good defense, and the Cardinals haven't been rule beaters this year either.
They gave Kyler Murray fits earlier, so
yeah. And I think there's a scenario that they both win. If Chicago loses, they can both take those spots up. So I think that very well may happen. I think the Green Bay game is the early game. Let me check real quicker. But I do think that, I just can't see that the Green Bay Packers taking it lightly and losing that chance to make everybody come through Green Bay and that frozen tundra. Maybe it loses a little bit of life that it used to have when we were kids, but there is something to having that elemental piece, and you never know who you're going to play outside there. So I think that's probably likely what's going to happen is, the Rams can get in with a Chicago loss, even if they don't win themselves. So,
and that's exactly what I think. That's me. I feel like that's what's going to happen, because I just don't see Chicago beating Green Bay. I feel like Chicago has a golden opportunity, like I said, to win in your end, but they just can't hang with that offense. I mean, you see what Aaron Rodgers now has a running game. I mean, they didn't even have Jamal Williams last week. They had AJ Dillon or somebody, and he. I mean, Aaron Jones got to relax a little bit last week, and in the snow, they were throwing the ball around like nothing. Devontae Adams still at almost 100 and something yards, receiving 3 touchdowns. It's just like I said earlier with Mahomes, Rodgers just seems like he could flip a switch and turn it on anytime. And when he knows he has to win, or they know they need to have a drive that they need to score on, I feel like they can do it at ease. And like I said, I feel like Chicago is going to be the odd man out in that playoff scenario. I feel like Arizona is going to beat the Rams, but the Rams will backdoor in. And then the one I'm going torn on is the NFC East. Washington. I'd like to see Washington get in there, man. I mean, Ron Rivera, all he's been through, Alex Smith, all he's been through. He's not playing tomorrow, right? Alex Smith is not going to go.
I hadn't heard he was going to play tomorrow yet, so.
So I don't know, man. I mean, Philadelphia's just a bad team. Even with Jalen Hurts, they just have so much that they're missing. They just, defensively they're not horrible on defense, I guess, but I just feel like they're missing so many pieces. So like I said, I'm gonna go with Washington. I'm gonna pull for Washington. I'm gonna go with my heart, pull for Washington on that, and I think that's how it's gonna all play out. But like I said, I'm excited, man. I can't wait. I can't wait to see it all play out. I'm gonna wake up Sunday morning. I wake up every Sunday morning ready to watch the Steelers. Ready to go. This weekend it's more relaxed. Yeah, I want them to win, but I'm not gonna be, throwing stuff or hiding my phone, not answering any phone calls or anything like that. But I'm gonna enjoy it. And I'm going to keep my eyes a lot on the other games and see how everything plays out and kind of see who Pittsburgh's going to play. I mean, it looks like we're going to play an AFC North team, unfortunately, but we'll see how it works out. But I'm excited.
We'll wrap it up real quick with just one prediction. I think that, Aaron Rodgers probably going to be the MVP. I think he locks it 100% if they win and get home field throughout the playoffs. But, part of me would love to see Devontae get a little bit of some MVP votes as a wide receiver, because when you watch him play, there's no Aaron Rodgers without Devontae Adams this year for sure. In the past years, you could argue it, but, I mean, he's almost made Aaron Rodgers the MVP single-handedly. So I hope he gets some love.
Yeah, he hasn't had – he's had Tanyan, but these guys are just guys you don't know without Rodgers. I mean, so yeah, no, I agree. That's been my MVP all year has been Aaron Rodgers. I feel like he's just hands down made the most with the least, and he just makes, like I said, it makes it look easy. It just makes it, it was a lot of questions going into the season when they drafted Love. The media starts talking, oh, he's mad, oh, I'd be upset, blah, are his days numbers and blah blah. And he came in and after all the talk last year about, with the new coach and young coach and all this, and it's just flawless. I feel like this system is perfect for him, and he's hands down had the best season, if you ask me. So.
No, and the one thing about the NFC too is, maybe the Saints a little bit are a finesse team, but they also know they can get that ground and pound a little bit. Kamara's been good. They've done some stuff with Taysom, but one thing that is such a stark differential, because I think the Chiefs are looked at as the number one finesse team, but every single other AFC contender is a kind of a grinded out, really tough, physical team. But everybody in the NFC seems to just be a really tough, maybe the Buccaneers, a little, those warm weather teams, those dome teams are looked at a little bit less, but, I think that, everybody kind of has a shot in the NFC for sure. And just grind it out and it's going to get physical. So it's two different stylistic approaches by both of the leagues, which is kind of cool.
Yep. It's going to be great. It's going to be fun. A lot of fun. So,
all right. So hopefully you see this all before Sunday morning. Again, we're going to post it either late Friday night, early Saturday, and look for us and our subscribers. Again, thank you so much. And if you happen to find us by accident, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and we'll go on this journey together. But Dion, again, it's been a fun year. It's been a fun year. We kind of decided to launch this whole thing, and Happy New Year to you, bro. And we'll do it together, and we'll have a good time.
Absolutely, same thing to you, man. It's been a great, crazy year. A lot of ups and downs. It's a whole new year now, 2021. We've talked about doing this for so long, and now we're finally putting it into play and finally doing it. So, like I said, you guys like it, comment on it. Send us comments, send us suggestions. If you don't like it, tell us what you like, what you don't like. We want to hear it all, anything good and bad. We're just trying to have some fun, trying to get a different perspective than the normal everyday ESPN analysts and other podcasts and stuff. We're just trying to have some fun, and we want you guys to your input. Let us know what we can do better, what we can do different, what you want to see. That's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to make it fun. And heck, come on to our show. You want to call in. We said before, we said the last time, we'll continue to say it. You want to join on here, come on, let's do it. Let's collaborate. Let's do it all together. Let's have fun. 2021 is our year, and excited with a lot of good fun things happening. Yeah, so
all right, y'all. Well, that's War Sports episode 2 in the books. We'll catch up with you on Monday or Tuesday, and we'll talk about these seeding and scenarios, and we'll make some predictions then. So peace out, y'all, and we'll do it again next week.